Flumo is an air drying casting slip that hardens like porcelain, and it doesn't need any firing, so this product is a game changer. This casting slip can only be used in plaster molds. Now it's time, after you've stirred the slip in the container, it's now a smooth consistency. So what I do here is I just take the mixing cup, and in order to get the air bubbles out, I just tap the cup a few times onto the table, and this should make a lot of the air bubbles disappear. It's important to note that if you need to add water, you can only use distilled water in the mixture. So now it's time to start filling the plaster mold. And here you want to pour the slip in without stopping and try to pour at an angle that is on the side of the pour holes. And this is done just to decrease the air bubbles that may form. So I like to just make sure that I fill up all the way to the top as much as possible. Since this mold is small, consisting of heads and hands, I typically wait for about 2 to 5 minutes before I begin to empty the mold. As you can see here, the slip is starting to sink a little inside the mold, and I know now that it's time for me to flip it over so that I can get the excess out. That way I can ensure that my heads and hands are hollow inside. I use these black baking pans in order to catch the excess slip once I turn the plaster mold over. Okay, so now after waiting for about 30 minutes to an hour, it's now time to empty the mold. And it's important to note that the plaster mold itself plays an important role because it absorbs the liquid water inside. And so the longer that you wait, it increases the fluidity and the firmness of the heads and the hands. Okay, now it's the demolding part of this process where the heads are gently removed out of the plaster mold, and these do not have to be fired. They are air dried. So it's also important to use clay and ceramic tools to remove any excess clay and fix any of the seam lines and any other imperfections. Flumo is a great product because it hardens just like porcelain, and when it's dry, it has like a bone antique white color. And you can also speed up the drying process or the hardening process by putting the products in the oven for at about 145 degrees for about 15 minutes. It's very important that you clean the plaster mold after each use because the plaster molds are very porous and very fragile. And any dried slip, you want to make sure that you're using plastic clay tools and brushes and making sure that you don't damage the mold. So this is the fun part for me. And because I make ethnic inspired products, I use acrylic paints in order to do the various skin tones that I use. And I have created a lot of different painting techniques that I use, but you can also put inside of the casting slip water-soluble pigments or dyes. if that's something that you prefer to do. Okay, so you can see that I finished painting the heads and the hands, and these products are ready for me to start designing my angel figurines and tree toppers. And I have actually come up with a solution to not being able to find these products in the craft store. So I make them myself. So because I know how hard it is for creators to find products like this, I will now be selling my own plaster mold. And this one consists of female and male heads and hands. I will also be an exclusive seller of the Flumo. There will be a link available below for both items. Thank you for watching my video.